Welcome in, everybody. I am your host, Matt Novak. Alongside me, as always, Grant Hocker.
Always, let's get it.
On the third mic is Jameson DeFore.
Football.
And continuing with us as we go through the preview episodes, and we just love having him here with us, is Mike Connor.
Faithful for life.
We are breaking down the divisions of the NFL. Today, we're going to be taking on the AFC North. Genuinely a division that I think's got a lot going for it. Has not been boring at all in the offseason, and there's a lot to hit here. I'm breaking this one down, so I'm going to be leading our conversation, and we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start. We've been starting at the bottom of the division every time. I'm actually starting at the top. To me, there isn't an unquestioned, absolutely dominant team who did nothing but reload coming into this season. They have played 3.5 quarters of really good football all the time. Led by the guy who should have been the MVP last year and Lamar Jackson. It is the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar's coming off an insane season in which he did something no quarterback's ever done in the history of the NFL, throw 40 touchdowns and have a 10-1 interception to touchdown or touchdown to interception ratio.
Justice for our boy.
2-1.
Yes.
40-4. He looked absolutely marvelous as a quarterback last year. Yes, his rushing yards were a little bit down, but guess what? He's handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. So who cares? Literally,
who's like
no
still in
one
his
should
prime
care.
somehow. It's so confusing.
Yeah, that's because he's a freak and absolutely phenomenal.
Also, real quick, he's got ammo to go for another 2K because he has a bet with Adam Sandler. If he reaches 2K yards, he's gonna be in the next movie.
Yeah.
He's got the motivation. So book it. 2K yards incoming.
And truly, like, this team is just locked, loaded in every position group. Like, it is really good. This is probably the best wide receiver room that he has had. Again, led by Zay Flowers. Rashad Bateman started playing consistent football last year. Really liked what we saw out of that group as a whole. We don't necessarily love DeAndre Hopkins at this stage in his career, but he's going to be asked to do not a lot.
As a number 3.
As a number 3, that's still a good 3. We're going to see him in a similar role to what Keenan Allen was last year for the Bears. He's going to come in, probably look at about 60, 65 targets. We expect him to be catching 60% of balls, so in that 45 catch range. But for a third to catch 45 this year, and by the way, D-Hop doesn't catch the ball 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. That doesn't happen. So that's going to be a little better for him. Again, best that he's had. They also added on the defensive side Jair Alexander. A lot of people sleeping on that. I don't know why. That is a great get for an already terrifying secondary who just paid their starting safety, Kyle Hamilton, a $25 million per year for the next 4. But
deserved.
Absolutely worth it, because all he does is make plays and come up with the ball in the most annoying way you've ever seen possible and just do freakish things out there. He's done nothing but impress. So money that was due. They added a lot of depth mostly on the defensive side of the ball because they can. When you're reloading on offense and nothing bad happened, you can just go and make your defense better, which is terrifying for a team that finished top 5 in most statistical categories on the defensive side of the ball last year. Malachi Starks out of Georgia is going to start at the other safety slot next to Kyle Williams. Great get for them.
Yes.
Tyler Loop out of Arizona is going to be the new kicker. Replacing a guy that we're not going to spend a lot of time on because he made some really poor decisions in his life. And apparently has Deshaun Watson syndrome. Goodbye, Justin Tucker. And sayonara to your NFL career. I've spent a lot of time talking about how amazing that guy was at his job, and we will not do any more of that. But Tyler Loop's going to step into some pretty big shoes. Again, coming out of Arizona, was all Big 12 in 2024. And this year, by the way, for this team marks the 30, like 3-0 NFL season under head coach John Harbaugh. Wild to think about in the NFL that we watch, where coaches are here today and gone tomorrow, that a franchise is dedicated 30 years to one guy running it. And it just doesn't even seem like this guy's old enough for that to have happened.
No.
Like, nobody's like, man, he's too old, get him out of there. Like, that's not how we think about John Harbaugh. Like, that's not the concern. He's a throwback in terms of his approach on the defensive side of the ball and special teams, especially. You will see this team kick a lot of field goals, as they have with Justin Tucker for the last decade. But this is a team that has innovated on offense, who went and got the freak athlete coming out of Louisville and handed him the keys to the Ferrari and said, go. So that's wild that that's happening this year. This is the team in this division, period. They are going to win 13 games. They will finish first in the AFC North, and I don't think it's really a debate. I think it's over right now, because what's sitting below them is a lot of talent in some particular areas of the ball, but teams that are literally trying to come together still. This is a wild division. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a division that gets talked about more than most. But it's going to be a little insane. And there's not a lot of completeness after them. So I think that they're probably going to go 4-2 or 5-1 in the division. And I know that that's saying a lot, but that speaks to how good this team is. Before I keep rolling, any thoughts? Anybody want to hit and say, I totally disagree? I doubt it.
I don't disagree with anything you said.
No.
I think it's the no-brainer. Like, this is the Ravens win the North. Done.
Yep.
And to me, this is the number one seed in the AFC.
That's a hard schedule.
They're the best. I think when you're that team, you win those games, and so it shouldn't matter.
And I would guess that your justification would be the AFC West is going to beat up on itself a little bit. A lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a hard schedule, but they still got some teams in there that they're clearly better than a lot of these teams. Like, they play the Dolphins, Browns twice. They play the Texans, the Bears.
Because they're going to run the AFC North.
I was going to say Jets. That's part of it. I see where you're coming from. I just struggle because they play the Bills head to head right off the bat,
which is a perfect week one game, by the way.
Yeah,
perfect
week one game.
And they play the Chiefs head to head. So I think if they lose either one of those, that team could take the number one. But I think you're right. The in division schedule is not that difficult comparatively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
to especially the Chiefs.
I mean, they still got Lions. They got the division winners in there, but they still got some cakewalks in there. When you play the Browns twice, there's 2 wins right there. There's some other stuff.
Yep.
So
Houston, and I do think it's like good. Ultimately this is you probably have a tiebreaker with the Bills or the Chiefs scenario to get that one seed. I don't think they're going to run away with it. Yeah. But
I want to keep it moving in the division, and I'm probably going to surprise you guys because my second place team is the Cincinnati Bengals. And here's
that doesn't
why.
Surprise me.
Here's why. Joe Burrow's really good at football. As we saw last year, though, the problem was not that Joe Burrow was doing anything wrong.
Also, justice for our boy Joe Burrow because of that defense, my friend.
Because that defense was horrible. And we sat there in our draft, preview and kind of looking at things and going, what are they going to do? Because they got so many holes to fill. They, instead of going ahead and placing in another insane tag on T. Higgins, they finally signed him and send him a bunch of money. They've got an insane amount of cap space attached to Chase and to Higgins and to Joe Burrow, quite literally $100 million this year.
They're making up, like we said last year, 44% of their cap space is going to 3 players.
It's insane. But we're like, man, they've got to figure this out. They also had offensive line struggles. And Joe Burrow at times running for his life. That offensive line showed in the preseason. It's still coming together. There is one specific highlight, and Zach Taylor needs to answer for it more than anything, like where Joe quite literally ran for his life about 25 yards backwards and then got sacked. And then they put him back out there after that happened for another series. Was insane. But I did look at that, by the way. They were not playing when that happened. I don't know why. They were not playing 2 of their 5 starters. The blitz came on that side of the ball. So that was interesting to watch. That is still coming together. But my main reasoning is, in the draft, they did a solid job. They did a horrible job signing these people to contracts, Shamar Stewart. But they did a great job drafting them. Shamar Stewart, starting opposite Trey Hendrickson, whom they finally just decided to give some dollars to shut the heck up so he would come play football. He'll be playing for $30 million this year. I don't blame Trey Hendrickson. However, he had outplayed his deal. And if you look at the $47 million that Micah is going to be making this year over in Green Bay, 30 seems like a pretty fair number for a guy who has actually had more sacks than Micah in 2 of the last 4 seasons.
Owners, pay your guys early. Just pay them early.
It's going to cost you more next year.
Yes, pay them what they're owed.
Even when you factor in the cap, it's still more percentage, you morons. Anyway, extensions are good. New contracts are bad. Yeah. But like the Shamar Stewart get out of Texas A&M at 17. Also really liked linebacker Demetrius Knight out of South Carolina at 49. Then they went and got Dylan Fairchild to help out the offensive line in the 3rd, and Jalen Rivers in the 5th. And again, they're still gelling together. They do have Mims at right tackle, Orlando Brown at left tackle, but that's going to need to become a unit for this team to really be successful. But because this team did not fare so well last year, they do have, as you guys just mentioned, as well, a little bit more favorable schedule. And so that's where they're going to find the wins. To me, this second place team is a maybe makes the playoffs, because there is one division that we're going to get to later this week that might just steal all of the available wild card spots. They really could, if you look at how they're loading up right now. We'll get to it. But so playoffs, maybe 9-10 wins, very reachable. The ceiling here for me is soft with 10 wins. But I like them in that 9 or 10 range. This team's going to be good. The over-under right now is sitting at 9.5. Don't disagree with it. I think it's right on. I think that's perfect for this team.
No, I agree. Yeah, they've got some pretty favorable schedule. They've got, obviously they run into some trouble here. They play the Lions and Packers and Steelers in back-to-back games. But then they've got Jets, Bears. They got the Dolphins, Cardinals in here. Like, that schedule is much easier for them because of what they did last year. I like it a whole lot more than some of the other teams we've talked about on their schedule.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I truly think that the Steelers Cincinnati rankings will come down to like right at the end. I think that Steelers defense is you're going to get to it, but they're that good. And then the Cincinnati offense is just that good. So they're like opposites. But I think it comes down to kind of like that last couple of weeks of who's going to be where. But I don't hate the Cincinnati Bengals being above the Steelers.
Well, and I think too, like, even though that defense was abysmal, they were still in it because of how good Joe Burrow was. Like, they were, even though they were like he was so freaking good. One of the greatest non-playoff seasons. We talked about it last year ever, with, I forgot how many touchdowns, over 40, and it was insane and all that stuff. And they were still trying to fight for a playoff spot last, 4 weeks of the season.
Yep.
And so I think this defense will be improved. I think it has to be improved for Zach Taylor to keep a job.
Absolutely.
That might be.
And also, I think they also have to start better than what they've done, because this team always starts slow.
Terrible September.
But their first 2 games are the Jaguars and the Browns. So those are winnable. Just at least if they can. Jaguars might be good, but I still think. I'm probably still taking Joe Burrow over at Trevor Lawrence and some of the offensive pieces they have. So
the hard part with that is, like, you look at the offensive versus defense matchup, when we're speaking from the perspective of the Bengals, and like, yeah, that should be a win. But then you consider like the offensive versus defensive matchup from the perspective of the other teams playing the Bengals defense, and you're like,
they love it. They're loving. They're like, we can feast here this week.
Yeah.
Can I see a Dallas Cowboys versus Bengals game? That would be,
God, no one
60 points on each side.
Dang it, they don't
That's
play
like those old
Dang
like
it.
Tony Romo Cowboys games where he's like, what did he lose that like 40-point game?
Rams Chiefs 2019.
Over under on that game has been like 150.
Yeah, exactly. But But no, I certainly agree. I have Bengals here as well. To me, this is very clearly the second best quarterback in this division, but also by my estimation, by far the worst head coach in this division. And that is also something that gives me a little pause when I look at the Bengals, because I trust that offense to go and, we're just gonna march down the field. We're gonna do what we do.
There'll be a top 3 offense.
It's the offensive line, obviously. That's the question there. But we saw what he did last year, despite that offensive line. The Browns and Steelers, I just don't think quite have enough. The Steelers defense obviously is going to be fantastic. The big difference there are those offenses for me. We're talking Joe Burrow in his prime versus Aaron Rodgers, who probably should have retired when he tore his Achilles. So yeah, I have the Bengals there too. I think that over under is a pretty good spot. But it's going to be real tough to get there. They definitely need to start off stronger. They can't do that, catch up game that
2
they've
and
been trying
4.
to do the last. Yeah, you can't be playing catch up at the end of the season, especially in the AFC this year, because again, we're going to talk about another division here in a bit. It's going to try to take up 3 or 4 spots on their own. So you gotta stay up there. You have to at least hit that 9-win mark. I don't think they're a playoff team this year, unfortunately, because of that. But I definitely have them slotted second place here in the AFC North.
Fun thing to do really fast. Off the top of your head, you said worst coach in the division. We agree with you collectively. Stefanski, as the head coach of this team, do they win 10 games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think Joe Burrow's that good.
Stefanski is held hostage by the front office of the Browns.
Yeah, amen. That was my point. That was my point, because we're going to get to them in just a moment, but amen to that.
Bring we all Brian good Flores around
over. So I can move on. We're all good around 9 wins.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Yeah. Steelers coming in at third in this division.
Sorry,
it's so much fun to talk about this team. The Aaron Rodgers is now their QB1. I came in hot on this issue prior to the draft and talked about how they seemingly didn't have a plan. Here was the plan: get older.
Yeah.
At the most important position in all of sports.
At all positions. This is the oldest team in the league. They have this many rookies starting on this team. This many. They don't have an offensive lineman, a safety, a nickel corner.
I didn't know that. That's wild.
Nothing. They have 0. You can go on to our lads right now and check that depth chart. By the way, if you're checking depth charts and you're not using our lads, they don't sponsor us or anything, but by far the most accurate.
If you want to sponsor us,
if you want to, our lads, we love it.
You don't even have to pay us. We'll just put. We got a few
varying subscriptions we'd love for you to pay for. But no, our lads is by far the best. Literally within 15 minutes, it will be accurate and up to date.
It's absolutely so fast.
And yeah, they are phenomenal the way they work with the reporters. But 0 rookies will be starting on this team. They paid Aaron Rodgers to come in. Not a crazy salary. Actually saved a bunch of money. It's not car insurance, but they saved a bunch of money by paying him what they did. DK Metcalf comes in to be their number 1. They did pay him a lot of money. They paid him true wide receiver 1 money at $30 million a year for the next 4.
Shout out.
They traded Pickens to the Cowboys because Mike Tomlin hates him. 100% why he's gone. Yep. That's it. I will say this team has also still found a way to bring drama out onto the field. Cam Hayward, who is the most beloved human being in all of Pittsburgh, did a hold-in because they decided to also pay TJ Watt, who has been off and on injured, but we know is the guy. Period. In the league when healthy. 3 years, $123 million for him. I actually like that contract a whole lot more than I like Micah Parsons. And I understand the 26 years old, but that's a get out contract. You are done with Micah Parsons, who, by the way, we didn't mention earlier when we were talking about that division. He's battling L4, L5 and going to get an injection before his first game. Not good.
That's true.
But they did do that. That pissed off Cam Hayward and said, give me more money. He is going to play, it looks like, but little nuts that they had a drama with a hometown like beloved human being like him. The offensive mindset's changed a little bit. Coordinator, it's weird to say coordinator, Arthur Smith. They're going to
still there
operate this insane personnel set because they already had Freiermuth, so they were like doing pretty good at tight end, and they're like, oh, by the way, we're gonna bring in Jonnu Smith and trade for him because we just don't want Minkah Fitzpatrick on our team anymore for some reason. Don't understand that. I literally do not know why you got rid of him. It makes no sense. Yeah. You're not paying quarterback money to your quarterback. You can afford him. It doesn't make sense. But they went and got Jonnu Smith. They're going to run him next to Freiermuth. And then, by the way, if Darrell Washington on this team, who is insanely underutilized, he's 6'7", 285 pounds, and just jumps up into the air and the ball's there and he catches it. I have not understood since he was drafted out of Georgia why he has not made more of an impact. He is clearly the size of an offensive lineman. They're going to run heavy sets, like 12 and 13 personnel sets, like crazy. You're going to see 3 tight ends out there all the time with single running back and a wide receiver. It's going to be weird, but they're going to do this with these 3 guys. So it's going to be different in terms of the vibe to do that. They got rid of Najee Harris, who had done nothing but run for 1,000 yards, although he looked insanely slow doing it for the last 3 years. Let him go. He's now over in San Diego. They did add Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay to this secondary. Like, they did a lot of things. I also did one thing I loved, which they drafted Derek Harmon from Oregon in the first round. Yeah. That is a perfect Cam Hayward replacement, by the way, in the long run. But Harmon battling a little bit of an injury at the moment, is hopeful for week 1. It's a knee sprain, though, so I never know. But it's just wild to see all the changes this team has made and gotten older. And now they got to go on the field and figure it out because they also don't play starters in the preseason, like basically at all.
Well, and also their quarterback didn't do any camp or anything.
Nope. Yeah.
Because he signed like 3 days ago, essentially.
And if you thought Roethlisberger couldn't move 3 years ago, wait until you see Aaron Rodgers post Achilles out there trying to chuck this ball with this offense. Holy crap.
Yeah, but he's also not like, 6'6", 270 pounds of not being able to move.
That part's fair.
Look.
The Steelers just made.
He's still older than me, and is 6'3.5" and about 240 pounds.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this team was so desperate to keep their coach getting another winning season at 9
wins.
They were so desperate that they were like, we're just going to make moves because we can, not because we should. Like,
not all of them make sense.
No, I don't. I personally don't understand why you would trade for DK Metcalf and then also get rid of Micah Parsons instead of trying to have a 2-headed monster or try to be a better wide receiver group.
You said Parsons.
Pickens. That's what I meant. Like, I understand why. They're both like insane on the field and nonsense, but
they're also insane in the locker room. You can't have those people in the same space. That's a collision.
I don't know. I just feel like they just made moves to make moves though, like just because they could. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, and like you said, the only reason Pickens is not there is because the head coach has to hate him.
But then why do you go get a guy who also is like a Pickens?
And that's it. Is Metcalf and Pickens are very similar.
Room?
No, yeah. He gets his temper flares on the field, but he's fine.
He just wears a binky as a mouthpiece.
Yeah, no, Pickens takes it out on teammates. He takes it out on
DK's a good teammate. He's at least a good teammate. Yeah.
Yeah. No, DK's good at that part. He doesn't have the hands that Pickens does.
No.
And that's the thing is they're very similar players, but you got rid of the younger guy. And I think that's the point that you're making about this team is they got rid of some of the younger guys and paid some of the older guys. And you're just like, next year, you guys realize there's a next year, right? Like,
no, they don't.
Bro, if you
based on these
15,
moves, no, they don't.
Like give whatever the sum of money is. If you had $30 million, okay, and you're a GM, are you going to give it to the guy who is Pickens? You're going to give it to that personality, or are you going to give it to DK who says, "My bad"?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That might be it.
I mean, it's irresponsible to give it to Pickens. It is. It's a Jerry Jones move.
Oh, he'll do it.
Sure.
He'll pay him tomorrow $40 million.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he got rid of Micah, so he has money now.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So retarded. Can't wait to talk about the NFC East. There was my R word drop for the episode. No, this team to me also 9 wins. Because they have so many people that have made Pro Bowls on this team that they should probably just win 9, but they're going to finish 1 off. I think that for whatever reason, the Bengals get the division record or whatever, and they take it from them. It's a 2A, 2B scenario here for me. But that's what I think this team is. And ultimately, Tomlin keeps his I've never had a losing season streak. And this team goes at the end of the year like they usually do because they suck in December.
I don't disagree with you. I think the Aaron Rodgers move was mostly this team just well, as long as our offense doesn't turn the ball over, our defense is going to win us games. Like that's kind of what they look at this, right? And so they're going to be like, let's do all the safe things, bring in these players that we know can play, and just make things happen. Like we said before, like it just feels weird that they're bringing in the old people, but I like 9 wins. 9 wins is right.
Bad move on my part that I don't mention that they clearly brought in Will Howard to be the eventual.
Yes,
can't do a synopsis on this team and say that they didn't at least think about next year when it comes to quarterback.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers for the first time ever appears ready to be helpful to an.
Well, it's because he knows he's done after this year. Like it's so obvious. So
this is swan song for sure.
Will Howard is not a threat to him in any way, and so he's not going to be petty, and he's not going to. Yeah.
And as bad a combine as Will Howard did have, which was historically bad, like literally bottom 4 of all time. He does have some huge components, both in his stature and playmaking ability and all that. Plays much older than he is type scenario. Take away the one miscue against the Ducks last year, when he was playing for Ohio State. But outside of that, do like that get, and it does bear mentioning drafting him in the 3rd round as the eventual starter. But the basement of this division is the Cleveland Browns. And that's just because they're the Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski needs to go coach another team because that is unfair at this point that he is being asked to do his job when his second drop of the day, retarded front office, keeps doing moronic things all the time. Like nothing to get them better ever.
Dude, this Deshaun Watson trade has just shattered anything for this team.
The worst move in the history of sports.
Like it is still so bad. You wasted Myles Garrett. Imagine if this team still had Baker Mayfield. If that, they would be a much better
they
team.
Feel so bad about what they did to Myles Garrett that they gave him $40 million a year for a while. And he deserves it. Absolutely.
Sure.
If I don't care what your order is on the top 3, pass rushers in the league. If it's, Micah, Miles, TJ, whatever, it's those 3. And as a lover of Nick Bosa, I will clearly state I understand he's outside that realm. But give him all the dollars. But this team comes in and, speaking of people that are older than me, is going to start Joe Flacco at quarterback after they drafted not 1, but 2 quarterbacks in the first 5 rounds of the NFL draft because they're retarded. They got rid of their offensive staff this last year, which I don't know if they realize this isn't the problem. They got a new O-line coach. Okay. Again, not the problem. While Stefanski's taking a lot of pressure here, this is 100% your GM's fault. This is ownership's fault for enabling Barry to do what he does to that team. It's awful. It's stupid. It makes no sense. Outside of Jerry Jeudy, tell me who he's throwing the ball to. Joe Flacco's about to make some 23-year-old famous this next year. He is. Because he's going to throw the ball 55 times while his team's behind every single freaking game. Because you can't name a linebacker. You can't name a safety on this team.
Njoku. That's who's going to throw to.
Who?
David Njoku, the tight end.
Oh, sure.
He's good.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, him and Flacco are besties. Have you seen their videos? It's hilarious. Yeah. These guys literally love each other.
That's a good fantasy get, by the way, later rounds.
Don't hate that one at all.
Continues to be
Jerry Jeudy.
someone I look
Jerry
at.
Jeudy and Njoku are pretty good gets.
Flacco makes no names secondary wide receivers, whoever the two is on a team, and the tight end famous.
It's the volume thing because he just it's like Matt Stafford. He just throws it every play.
Throws the ball.
Gunslinger.
And and then they drafted Quinshon Judkins, who everybody knew was a risk, and everybody knew he was a risk because he's insane. And guess what? He's probably not going to be allowed to play in the NFL ever. There's a really good chance of that. It's not just get disciplined for a while. He may not get to play ever. And I mean, they're about to literally keep Judkins on the inactive and Deshaun Watson because these guys are so great at picking character human beings who come out and play great football for you. Not. I hate this team. I hate what they're doing. I feel really bad for the players that are decent human beings and do a good job at what they do or are elite at what they do. In Myles Garrett, hate it for them. This team is going to win 5 games because Kevin Stefanski is really good at his job.
Well, and Joe Flacco's going to throw for 400 in 3 games.
Sure. And then he's going to get murdered by week 6.
And
exactly. We're going to have to watch Dylan Gabriel play football, which I used to enjoy when he played in college, but he is not going to translate over, in my opinion. This is a team with 2 really bad backups and a very old man that's going to huck it until his shoulder falls apart.
Yeah.
So that is what this division is. We got a 5-win team. We got 2 teams in that mid-range 9-8, 8-9 scenario, neither of which we believe will make the playoffs. And then you have an elite squad in the Baltimore Ravens with 30-year head coach John Harbaugh, which that needs to be celebrated when he comes to town every week this year. All those teams better pay some homage to a dude that's holding it down like that. But that is the AFC North. It's not going to be boring.
Nope.
It's just not going to be great. So we hope you guys enjoy, and we're going to get on to the next episode. We'll see you on the next one as we continue to break down each division in the NFL. This is Sportsify.